The Haggadah tells us of four children, and I believe these are four archetypes. The four children are the Chacham, the wise one, the Rasha, the wicked one, the Tam, the simple one, V'she'en yidei lishol, and the child who does not know how to ask questions. I'd like to expound on these four children by showing a parallel to a Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, in Ethics of Our Fathers, based on something that I saw in a book of Eric Fromm's Man for Himself. And the Mishnah talks about four types of people. Arba midot ba'adam. There's four different types of people. One who says, Shali, Shali, v'shalach, shalach. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours. It says, this is zu mida baininus. This is the average person. V'yesham zu mida stom. And some say, that's the character type, that's the attribute of the people of Sodom, who were obviously very wicked people who were destroyed. The next one is Shali, Shalach, V'shalcha, Shali. Someone who says what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. That's an Ama'aretz, that's an ignorant person. The third is Shali, Shalach, V'shalcha, Shalach. What's mine is yours and what's yours is yours. That's a chassid, that's a very pious person. Shalach Shali, V'shali Shali, someone who says what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine, Rasha, that's a wicked person. So Eric Fromm seems to understand these four types. He doesn't actually mention Ethics of Our Fathers, but I believe that's what he's referring to in a modern sense. And he says, we'll start with the first one. The first one of the types of people is someone who says what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours. And it's very interesting because the argument here sounds strange. One person says that's average guy. The other one says, no, this is the character of people in Sodom who were the most wicked people that we could imagine, that God decided he had to destroy the whole city. So again, simply, I believe how Eric Fromm understands this is that what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours. He calls that a hoarding personality. And it's someone who has a sense of self that exists outside of the need for other people. So he's saying not just what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours in giving charity. This doesn't necessarily have anything to do with charity. There's another Mishnah, the next paragraph, or a couple paragraphs later on, talks about people who give charity. Here we're talking about just typical human traits. And when someone says what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours, they're saying, I don't need you. I don't want anything from you, but I don't want to share. What he calls a hoarding personality is someone who's like a hermit. He lives on his own, he's happy, he's satisfied, he has confidence in himself, he's a strong individual, but he doesn't want to share. So on the one hand, you could say, well, that's okay. He's not harming anyone. He's staying to himself. That's why the first opinion says it's an average person. But I believe that's not the correct approach, because it's really saying, when a person says that, he's really saying, I don't want to have anything to do with the world. And as we know, no man is an island. No man could exist on himself. Because when this person is saying, what's mine is mine, he's saying it's not just immaterial. It's ideas, it's love, it's emotion, it's connection. Nothing is important to me. The only thing that's important to me is myself, what I think, what I know, what I can gain for myself, what I can create. That's the only thing that matters. So it sounds on the surface as it's okay, but really it's asking for destruction. Because God creates human beings, it says, Lo tov hayosa adam levado. It's not good for a human being to be by themselves. They need, and the Torah there is talking about a spouse, but we need not only a spouse, we need community. We need to build on the ideas and the principles and the character of other people, besides the point that it's very hard to survive on your own, because no one could be a mathematician, an architect, a farmer, and on and on and on. We need the skills that other people give to us. So in a physical sense, we need other people. But it's not just that. In the world of ideas, if you want to build, if you don't want to just be a hunter-gatherer for the rest of your life, but you wanted to advance and evolve into a modern civilization, which isn't just technologically advanced, but also is advanced in the world of ideas, in the world of kindness and goodness and sharing one with the other, then you need other people. And that's exactly the problem that Sodom had. Sodom did not like guests. When the guests come into town, they want to take advantage of them. They want to destroy them. Sodom is not just destroyed by God. It's really they destroy themselves. Such a community, on a communal level, it can't work. Because if you isolate even a small town or even a large town and you don't want to have anything to do with the rest of the world, ultimately you're going to be destroyed. Certainly, somebody who's an individual who has no connection to other people, it's self-destructive. So yes, he's not harming anyone, so to speak, but he's automatically going to be someone who's never going to survive. His ideas won't survive, and all of his outlook on life will not exist past that person's short-lived life. That's the first one. That's the hoarding personality. The next one says, what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. That sounds really good. Now, Erich Fromm was a communist, and he thought communism and sharing was the ideal. So he calls this the marketing personality. I consider it a communist personality, but the idea is really the same. What he's saying in the marketing personality is that you only give value to what somebody else gives value. If you buy a suit or you buy a handbag that only value is the fact that everyone's going to say, wow, you bought a Gucci handbag, if that's still popular, then you don't really have ideas of your own. You don't really have a sense of value of your own. Your only value is what somebody else gives it. So he calls that the marketing personality. It's that you only care about what somebody else will pay for it. You don't understand the inherent value in this case, the object that you're buying. But it's also in the world of ideas. It's in the world of love. Who do you care for? Do you care for people who you know everyone's going to say, wow, you're with so-and-so? You're part of this group? Or do you care about people who have real ideas? Communism is the same idea. Communism is stating, oh, everyone should be equal, right? So he's saying that we only care about what other people give value to. And the opposite extreme, in my mind, is communism, where you're saying everyone should have exactly the same. But that also doesn't really make sense because we're not all equal. We're all different. Of course, we have to share, which we'll talk about a little later. We have to give of ourselves. But equality? No, equality doesn't exist. Equality might sound good on a personal level, on a familial level. Sure, in my family, my wife and I share. If I have something, I give to her. If she has something, she gives to me. If our children need something, we give it to them. And that's great, but it can't survive on a wider basis. We can't all be equal. And it's not only in the material aspect, it's also in the world of ideas. We can't always say that, oh, whatever anyone else thinks is just as equal to what I think, and vice versa. No. Some people are good in one area. Some people are advanced in another area. And we all have different value that we give to society. We're not all equal. It's not what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. No, that's an Amma Aretz. That's a ignorant person. Goes on to say, Shali, I'm going to skip to the Russia, to the wicked one. Shali, shalcha, shali, v'shali, shali. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. That's a wicked person. He calls that a sadistic personality. He says that's somebody who is saying, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. First of all, note here, it doesn't say like the other ones, what's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine. It starts off saying, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. How do I get anything? I only attain things by taking from someone else. I don't see value in myself at all. Really, it's an insecurity when you're taking only from other people. You only know what other people have. Once you take it, what's yours is mine, then it belongs to me. What's mine is mine. That he calls a sadistic personality, and he actually says that you could see that in a person. They're biting, a biting personality. That's what gave me the idea that even Erich Fromm was thinking of the Haggadah, because it talks about the wicked son here, the wicked child. It says you should blunt his teeth. that he's biting, he's taking, he's constantly grabbing. And that's what that person is. He's only seeing value in someone else, but he decides that, how do I deal with that? I just take everything for myself. And then he says, the other person, the last one, which we call the chassid, the pious person, what's mine is yours, and what's yours is yours. That sounds like the ideal person. He's giving completely of himself. But we know in the area even of charity, for example, the Talmud tells us you shouldn't be giving away more than 20% of your wealth. The ideal is at least 10%. Don't give away more than 20%. The rabbis tell us that if you're very wealthy, you can give away more than 20%. But the basic idea is that if you give too much of yourself, you're going to be a charity case. You still have to live. Your family has to survive. How could you just say whatever is mine is yours? No, it's not true. And it's not true also in the area of ideas, principles, character traits, love, emotion. Not everything is mine is yours. No, I have to have a sense of self also. Yes, I'm going to share perhaps. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. But really, what's mine is firstly mine. It's primarily mine. It's not yours. So you don't have enough self-confidence to be able to say, what's mine is mine. Eric Fromm calls that the masochistic personality. Again, both the sadistic and masochistic see value in other people. The sadist takes for himself, and the masochist gives to others. Now, we have to deal with the fact that this Mishnah here says he's a pious person. Without going into detail, I would say that's only in relationship to God. In relationship to God, we have to be humble and we have to consider ourselves as having nothing and everything it comes from God. But in terms of other people, I think that's not correct. And I would say, before we get back to the Haggadah, I would say that according to this, the ideal person is none of these four. All of these four are extreme personality types. The balance, which is really the ideal, is to say, shali, shali, what's mine is mine, vishalcha, it's also yours. I have the need, the necessity, and the ability to give to you because I feel confident in myself. I've earned something, whether it's in the world of ideas, love, or material possessions, and now I say, yes, it's mine, but I want to share with you. I recognize that there's also value in other people. V'shalcha shalach v'shali. What's yours is yours, but it's also mine. I have to realize that you have ideas, you have love, you have material possessions that I could use. We want to trade. We want to take from your ideas. We want to learn from your culture. So the balance is really neither of these four. The balance is that we all are saying what's mine is primarily mine, but I have to share. And what's yours is primarily yours, but you also have to share with me, and I understand that. Going back to the Haggadah, we can now apply that to the four children. And we'll start with the wicked one. The wicked one is obviously the wicked person in ethics of our fathers, and he's really just saying that he only doesn't see any value in anything else except what he wants. We won't go into detail, but you read the paragraph, you'll see that. The tam, the simple one, is the one who says what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours. Doesn't see value. He's a simple child, doesn't see value in anything. He thinks everyone's the same, or all value comes from the marketplace, but it doesn't have any inherent value. That's simplicity, not simplicity in a positive way, but simplicity being ignorant. And that child only is able to say, Mazos, what's this? He doesn't know enough to give any value to any idea. And therefore he has, he's looked down upon as the simple child. The She'eni Yadei Lishul, the one who doesn't know how to ask, that's what he called the hoarding personality. That's the one who says what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours. He's separate. He cuts himself off completely from everybody else. And when he cuts himself off from everybody else, he's not able to relate to other people. He doesn't ask questions. He doesn't know how to ask questions. He's not interested. He doesn't care. And he's completely and totally devoid of any communicative skill. That's the She'eni Yadei Lishul. He doesn't know how to ask. The only one we're left with now is the Chacham, the wise child. I would argue that the wise child here is the ideal that I presented before. He's the one who is able to study, to understand, and to ask questions which are intellectually astute. he doesn't just say, what is this? He says, Maha Eidos v'achuga v'amishpatim. What are these statutory laws, the testimonial laws, the statutory laws, and the societal laws that exist? He's already thought about ideas. He knows what things are about, but he's interested in inquiring more. He wants somebody else to give him what they have. So, Ezehu Chacham, who is considered a wise person, again, ethics of our fathers, Halo made Mikol Adam, who learns from everybody. He's willing to ask, he wants to answer, he has the ability to have enough confidence in himself to say, I know what the question is. I could understand that there's an issue here, but then he realizes that he has to learn from other people. So in short, the Chacham here, the wise child, is not a tzaddik. He's not righteous. He's not pious, but he's understanding. And in the world of the Mishnah and the Talmud, that's exactly our ideal. It's the inquiring mind, not from the National Enquirer, but from the Talmudic inquiring mind. And if you ask enough questions, if you realize you could learn from other people, then it says, so then you give him all the laws of the Pesach offering, and that you ein maftir nachar Pesach afikomen, that you don't have anything after the afikomen. The afikomen is the ultimate redemption. It's really saying that if you search for answers, you will eventually will find answers. You'll eventually come to terms with your place in the world and how you fit into the world. And that's what really brings people together, unites people, and will bring our ultimate redemption.